Pregame.com.
Welcome back to Pregame.tv. It's Saturday baseball action. Washington at Arizona. VR, Washington, they're the story this year. I mean, they've got the best record in baseball. They're not just in first place, best record in baseball. But you look at this team and it's like, you don't believe that they're this good.
Everyone's been waiting for them to drop off. I mean, let's tell it like it is. Even though statistically they're third in Major League Baseball in run differential, which tells me they're getting the job done. And even though the Pythagorean over-under says their record reflects they've won 12 and a half more games than they should have based on runs scored, runs allowed, this is still a quality ball club. But like you said, other than the Bryce Harpers, the Zimmerman, a pitcher here or there, Strasburg for one, you know, you don't really think that this team should be called the best team in baseball.
Well, they're traveling to Arizona. This is going to be a big series. Arizona is trying to get themselves back in the race with things, and you know, they were a big surprise last year as they took the National League West. They're sending out their rookie pitcher, Wade Miley. This kid's pitched
stud.
Great, absolute great baseball, and they played pathetic at the beginning of the season. Right now, this guy, 5 straight starts, he's given up 3 runs or less, pitching at home. In one of my little scenarios that I always like, they just finished a road trip, so they returned home on Friday. I'm not a big fan of them.
Jumping on them right away when you got to get your laundry done, got to visit the kids, got to
take care of the wife.
Yeah.
It's the second game, which this will be the second game of the series. So from a situational standpoint, I like Arizona in here. Washington comes in hot. They've won, as we're taping, they've won 7 of their last 8, but they played Miami and they played Houston. So is that 7-1 run a little bit misleading? Because
big time misleading.
Because they've struggled with Houston. Even though they beat Houston and they got one more game to go with them, all of the games were 1-run games.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is how they win.
You mentioned Miley, and when you look at the pitching for Arizona, I mean, they got Kennedy, they got Saunders, they got Hernandez, 3 very good pitchers, and yet Miley is the highest value over replacement player, and he's worth the highest in wins. So this kid's the total package. So I really give the pitch an edge here over Edwin Jackson. You know, he's gone from team to team, and I don't like the fact that he gives up over 1 home run per 9 innings. In Arizona, that could be dangerous. But when you look at Washington's record, they've won 61% of their games, which is a tad high. Even for the best teams in baseball, they usually hover around 59 to 60% historically. But when you look at their road record, they've won 63% of their games. I don't think they're going to be able to maintain that through September. I think we're going to start to see a drop-off from this team. They're suffering injuries right now. You got DeRosa, Desmond, and Solano all hurt. So here's a team that I think going forward, you may not want to be backing, especially since they're overvalued now with everyone talking about them. I like Arizona here, and I lean under as well.
I agree with you. I like Arizona. The only thing I'm going to say on Jackson, and he's like the lost guy on that staff.
Yeah.
Because you look at him, he doesn't put up those overpowering numbers, and he gets lost in the shuffle. And you got Strasburg, at the top of it, and
Gonzalez,
you got
all
Zimmer,
them guys.
All those guys. Yeah, Gio Gonzalez.
Forget about it.
Unbelievable year for him. The thing with him is Jackson. Last 4 games, he's gone 4 straight starts where he's given up 3 runs or less. So he's in a groove himself right now. But I think pitching in Arizona, it's going to be too much. I agree with you for this one. One quick question I want to ask you for moving forward. What do you think is going to happen to the psyche of this team when they do shut down Strasburg, which they've said it's 160 innings. They're not moving off of it. How's that going to affect this team moving forward?
I think it's got to affect them because you're there to win a World Series. And the way you do that in October is with pitching. And you're going to sit who may very well be the best pitcher on your team, at least this season statistically, he's in the top 2. Mm-hmm. But regardless, he's your ace. And I don't think that's going to do, you may think, are other guys going to step up? Is this going to give them, more motivation to know we got to bring our A game day in and day out? I'll tell you what, they have a bad game when the playoffs get here or a couple bad pitching outings, and all of a sudden the questions start floating around the clubhouse. Why did we sit our ace down? Why isn't our ace pitching game 1 of, the NLCS or whatever? I don't think it's a positive, I'll tell you that.
nobody, they're talking all about us, but
You got to protect them.
I understand you got to protect them. Here's my thing. You've got, a lead in the National League East.
Do it earlier.
Why don't they shut him down? Because you can make the playoffs. I know you got to get there first, but it's all about the playoffs. Why don't they shut him down and bring him back the last week?
They're going to win the East, man. I mean, someone's got to go on a 15-game run, more or less, and they've got to be losing in that stretch.
If you're going to shut him down, I would shut him down now. Bring him back the last week of the regular season to get him, back into the flow of things, and have him for the playoffs. That's just me, but I wanted to ask you that question. So your pick here is Arizona?
Arizona, baby. I like Arizona. I'll lay up the 135. I think you'll get a lot lower than that, and I think the total is going to be inflated up around that 8.5 range. I think the game stays under as well.
All right, there you have it. Vegas Runner says to take Arizona. I actually agree with him on this one. We like Arizona as well.
Actually, like usually you disagree.
Well, like RJ gives, gives you the blessing. You got the blessing this week from me. So that's
Thank you, Godfather.
Okay, no problem. There you go. You got a double dose of Arizona from Vegas Runner and yours truly. We're going to be right back. We're going to go to Sunday preseason action. Yes, it is
my best bet of the week.
Fior's best bet, and it is
two of the best teams in all of NFL.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of interest. Andrew Luck's debut. We'll talk about that next on pregame.tv.